Okay, hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies. And yesterday, it's my birthday. Uh, and yesterday was surreal because not only did I go to a field trip with some interesting people and went to one of my classmates' house and watched people play Chinese games, board games for 3 hours. But also, I got to watch uh, a movie that I think is absolutely great, that totally exceeded my expectations and blew my mind. It's Parasite, Gi Sang Chung. Um, yeah, I'm sorry if I mispronounce Korean words here, but Gi Sang Chung, or in Cantonese, it's Ge Sang Chung. It's directed by Joon-Ho, who is one of the most famous South Korean directors out there, and he has a handful of great movies. Not only did he make The Host, which is this monster thriller roller coaster classic, but also Snowpiercer, which is one of the craziest and most nonsensical, but in a good way, sort of dystopian movie starring a lot of big names in Hollywood, but also some lesser known names, but still really big names in South Korea. And then now he's back to making some solely 100% Korean movies, and this is Parasite, Gi Sang Chung. So, yeah, this movie was in the Cannes Film Festival, and it won the Palme d'Or award, and it's a huge deal. And after watching it, I kind of see why. I kind of understand why. Oh my gosh, I just can't stop thinking about this movie. This movie is just so thought provoking and also just so beautifully twisted and rotten and scary and intense and emotionally potent, but also kind of lighthearted in some ways. If you want to give this movie a genre, it's pretty much impossible. At first, it feels like a crime comedy, which would have gotten a light to decent 8 from me, probably. And then this movie would throw a violent plot twist at you every time you think you can predict what's going on in the movie. And it just goes from a crime comedy movie to straight up thriller movie to drama to tragedy almost. And it's just a huge mixing of different genres. And I don't want to give away too much because this movie is the kind of movie that's best without knowing what the hell's gonna happen in the movie. And even the director Bong Joon-ho literally made a video talking about how you shouldn't tell anyone what happens in the movie. But I'm gonna just tell you very, generally and kind of vaguely what happens in the first act. So we have this very poor family in South Korea who lives in a very small house in a very poor area, poor neighborhood. And they couldn't get any jobs because they didn't really enter any big schools or college or universities. But what they're good at is acting and faking. So they scammed a rich family who lives on top of a mountain and is super rich, lives in a really fancy giant mansion. So the family has a mother, a father, a daughter, and a son. First off, the son's friend had to go to other countries to study and asked the son to replace him as an English tutor for this rich family. For this rich family's daughter specifically. And then after that, the son asked the rich mother about the other rich son and said, hey, maybe the other rich son also needs a tutor, maybe an art teacher. So that's when the poor daughter came in. And then slowly but surely, the entire poor family had infiltrated the rich family like a parasite and has been very poor but had been living in a really rich condition. and then shit happens. And again, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but what happened was so shocking and so thought provoking. I was uh the whole time watching the movie, I was either super interested or I was just no, no, no. And I know it's crazy, but I'm gonna say it, okay? This movie is better than Avengers Endgame. I enjoyed this movie way more than Avengers Endgame. Not only is the pacing perfect, but also it's like very, very entertaining. It just doesn't beat around the bush at all. No BS. Right after the start, we get the first act, then the crazy twist second act, then the incredibly violent third act, and it's just one big mind blow. Another thing that I would like to talk about is the cinematography. It's beautiful. It's way more beautiful than I have expected. Bong Joon-ho is a really, really professional and experienced director. You can really tell from this movie. There are tons of really beautiful shots. I'm just gonna name a few. There's a shot where the son, the main character, the son, was looking through a window, a corner window, like a giant corner piece of glass, and outside it's the front yard or the backyard, and there's a desk, and the rich mom was sleeping on the desk, and the housekeeper was trying to wake her up. It's like some Orson Welles front and back thing going on. You know how Citizen Kane sort of revolutionized cinematography because it knows how to play around with close things and far away things. And also, there's one really memorable shot where, everything's just really broken, like quite literally, everything's broken and messed up. But the main character daughter, she just sat on top of her toilet seat and just smoked and watched as everything go down. And, but yeah, tons of other amazing shots, great composition, great colors, great camera work, great camera movement as well. And the ending is actually really poignant and sad, tragically beautiful. Whenever you think this movie is gonna go this way, Bong Joon-ho is gonna be like, nope, it's gonna go that way. Yeah, I'm gonna make the movie go that way. And I was just sitting there being fully mind blown. Okay, now I have to do it. I have to talk about the spoilers, so I'm gonna put a spoiler alert up here. If you haven't watched the movie, please do not watch the spoilers part, okay? Go to the comments below. There will be a timestamp. Click on the timestamp or tap onto the timestamp and just skip to the score of the video. Because if you know any of these spoilers, you're not going to enjoy this movie as much. Very significantly. But yeah, everything I've just said in the video, in the review, is basically the first act. In the second act, the rich family is outside the house, because they wanted to go to a small camp trip thing. So the poor family basically inhabited the rich house now, and they were just partying hard and having a great life. And then all of a sudden, the old housekeeper who got kicked out came back. And that old housekeeper went into the basement of the house. And so the new housekeeper, aka the main character mother, followed the old housekeeper into the basement and found that the old housekeeper had been keeping her husband there for 4 years already. And not only is it scary, but also really, I think, really saddening. Anyway, all the other main characters accidentally exposed themselves, and the old housekeeper realized that they were all fake, or maybe the old housekeeper already knew. And the old housekeeper threatened to tell the rich family about how the main characters are actually just fakes. And and then all of a sudden, when that moment is super intense and heated, all of a sudden a phone call happened. Apparently the rich family has canceled their trip and is going back to the rich house in 8 minutes. Oh my gosh. And that was fucking crazy. The main character dad managed to tie both the secret husband and the old housekeeper up and hide them in the basement. And the old housekeeper tried to go back up the stairs to scream for help and all that. And the main character mother kicked her, and the old housekeeper fell down the steps in the basement and actually died. And that's when the old housekeeper's husband turned insane and wanted to kill the main characters. And also at that moment, only the new housekeeper had to stay in the house. All the other main characters weren't supposed to be in the house, so they had to escape. And that escape scene were actually suspenseful AF. It's like, they were just so close to being caught. They had to hide under the table, and they had to, secretly, sneak out. It's actually very suspenseful. And then they ran all the way back home. It was raining, and there was a flood. And their old house, their poor house in the poor neighborhood, was completely flooded. And it was really dirty and really unpleasant. And again, if you look at the main character dad, he's always closing his eyes like this is his destiny. So yeah, basically the main character dad really hates the rich family now because the lower class people keep on suffering, and also because all this happened because of the main character's son. So the main character's son decided to use this rock to kill the two people in the basement under the rich house. So on the next day, there was this last minute party going on. It's crazy, it's huge. And the main character's son secretly went into the basement and tried to kill them, except he failed, he messed up, and he got killed instead. At least almost. At least at that moment when I was watching it, I thought he was actually killed. And I was surprised because this isn't the kind of movie where the entire family gets killed. But I was just blatantly shocked. And then the crazy hidden husband just took a knife and just stabbed the main character daughter. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, are they all gonna die? I was legitimately worried. And then the hidden husband started to fight with the main character mother, and it's this really fucked up moment where the lower class people struggle to sort of infiltrate the upper class people having a great life, and it's very bloody, very violent, very terrifying. And there's this one moment when the rich kid, the rich son, suddenly fell down and have a seizure because he saw that hidden husband guy. And the rich dad was like, give me the car keys, we need to bring him to emergency in the hospital. Meanwhile, at the same moment, the main character's son's head was bashed and he was unconscious, and the main character daughter was literally stabbed. But the rich family decided to only take their own kid only because of one seizure. And the main character dad was so pissed off, he grabbed the knife from the hidden husband and just stabbed the rich dad. And at the end, for some reason, the main character dad decided to just walk away and disappear. And disappeared for a long time, not for a few minutes, for a long time. I'm talking years. And then we have the aftermath, which is, if anything, incredibly heartbreaking, kind of poetic too, and just stains my heart, stains my mind for an extremely long time. So basically, the rich family moved out, and another family went into the lived in the rich house now, and the rich family didn't know that the main character father was now in the basement the whole time, sort of replacing the old hidden husband, and he keeps on hitting the lights in Morse code every night, hoping that his son would see it and would know what's going on. And also, the daughter died. And that was when I learned that, I was like, oh no. I was literally doing this. And yeah, it was incredibly heartbreaking, especially when the son saw his sister's photo, he just smiled in a very innocent way, and not because he wants his sister to be dead, but more like he's proud of faking and acting, and how this method sort of cheats him all the way to the top, to the upper class. And then the son saw the Morse code in the house, and he wrote a letter back saying, Dad, I have a plan. I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna get rich, and I'm gonna buy that house, and then you're gonna be free from the basement. And we see this really warm and beautiful shot where the dad finally walks out of the basement, seeing that his son and his wife were in the backyard where the murder happened, and they just hugged each other. But in the next shot, we see the poor house again, and sort of the main character's son was just writing the letter, finishing it off, and just hoping for the best in the future. So what's gonna happen afterwards is still uncertain, and that just leaves me hanging there, because not only had the family already lost a member, just when you think the family can all survive and escape in peace, nope, something has to die, something has to go missing in order to make you feel at least a little bit broken. But also the director Bong Joon-Ho sort of leaves us at almost a cliffhanger, but not really a cliffhanger, because we don't know what's going to happen, but we also don't need to know, because this is the story. Overall, this movie really surprised me at how powerful it is. Also tragically beautiful. And also, I forgot to say that I don't know why, but I think the main characters are all really likable and rootable. And whenever something bad happens to them, I feel really hurt. And also, this movie says a lot about the wealth gap and how the lower class people, the poor people, suffer, while the upper class people and the rich people enjoy life and be happy. And what I think the ultimate message of the movie, though, might be family, the value of family, and how in adverse situations you still go together and you still protect each other no matter what, but also the importance of having a family and not letting anything else like wealth sort of distract you from that. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. This is the best movie I've seen in the year so far, better than Endgame, and it's mind-blowing, and I'm honestly giving Gisaeng-chung Parasite a 9 out of 10. A strong 9, actually. I really wanted to give a 10, though, but I'm gonna keep it a 9. It's closer to a 10 than an 8, but yeah, a strong 9. So, have you watched Parasite? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Also, I watched this in the theaters. Don't watch it in streaming services because the translation really sucks. But the translation in cinemas, in theaters, they're way better.